Welcome to my channel for a new recipe. Today I am making the softest apple and cinnamon rolls. It's a very easy recipe to make and I am going to show you step by step how to make the most delicious and fluffiest apple and cinnamon rolls drizzled with a nice cream cheese glaze. Because guys, no cinnamon rolls is complete without the cream cheese glaze. So let's start with the recipe. You will find the list of all the ingredients for this recipe in the description box. In a large bowl, add 280 ml of lukewarm milk. Add 220 ml of lukewarm water. Then add 2 packets of active dry yeast or 4.5 teaspoons. Make sure that the water in the milk is not too hot or too cold, or the yeast will not activate. Then add the sugar and mix well. Then cover and set aside 5 minutes for the yeast to activate. After 5 minutes, add 70 ml of oil. Then add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Then add half a teaspoon of salt. Then add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And mix well all the ingredients. Then add the flour gradually. Then use a whisk to mix well the flour. I've used 800 grams for this recipe. But it depends on the flour you're going to use, so add it gradually. You should end up with a dough that doesn't stick to your fingers. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications. I post videos regularly. And if you have a question, you can leave me a comment. Add more flour, but this time use your hand as you won't be able to use the whisk. Then add more flour until you end up with a dough that doesn't really stick to the fingers. And if you like the recipe, don't forget to click on the like button. Then put the dough on the table and knead the dough a little bit. And if the dough is still sticky, add a little bit of flour and continue kneading the dough. And continue kneading the dough for around 2 to 3 minutes. And now we have a dough that doesn't stick to our fingers. Add a little bit of oil and spread it well inside the bowl. Put the dough in the bowl, cover it and let it rest for around 1 hour or until it doubles the size. If you want your dough to rise quickly, put it in a hot place. Once the dough has risen, flour the work area. Make sure you add enough flour so the dough doesn't stick to your work area. Then roll the dough into a rectangular shape. Flour the dough and roll it into a rectangular shape. For the filling, you will need 100 grams of brown sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon powder, and half a teaspoon of salt. Then mix well to combine the cinnamon to the sugar. And to spread the dough, you are going to need 50 grams of butter. Make sure that the butter is soft and not melted. You can take it out of the fridge the day before, or you can melt it a few seconds into the microwave. Then sprinkle the filling evenly onto the dough. Then use the rolling pin to stick the filling onto the batter. I use this method so the sugar stays in place when I'm going to start rolling the dough. Then chop 3 apples and place them onto the dough. You don't need to add the apples if you don't want, but I think it's more delicious with the apples, so I always add apples to my cinnamon rolls. Then cut all the borders to have a nice roll. Then roll the borders and press them flat. Then start rolling the dough delicately. And make sure you roll it slowly so the end bit doesn't come out. Then butter an oven tray. And to have a nice cut, I've used a string. Then mark the dough with the string and cut each roll into 2 centimeters. And continue cutting the rest of the dough. Place the rolls into the batter tray. Then let some space between each rolls as we're gonna let them proof and double the size. Press on the rolls, cover and let it rise for 20 minutes in a hot place. And after 20 minutes, the cinnamon rolls have doubled the size. I am going to add on each of them some walnuts, but you don't have to, it's optional. Then bake at 180 degrees for around 18 to 20 minutes. but keep an eye on the rolls as they cook very quickly. For the glazing, you are going to need 100 grams of cream cheese that you're going to mix well to make it soft. Then add 40 grams of icing sugar. And mix well to combine it with the cream cheese. And finish by adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 2 tablespoons of milk. And mix well. And you will end up with a nice and smooth cream cheese. And after the cooking time, we end up with a nice golden brown cinnamon rolls. My cinnamon rolls have baked for around 18 minutes. If you don't have a pouch, just use a teaspoon or a tablespoon and you will have the same result. So just get ready to enjoy some of the softest and fluffiest cinnamon rolls you ever have, as they fall apart so easily and are just delicious. Bon appétit! If you like this recipe, don't forget to subscribe, to like and to share. And see you soon for new recipes.